I seem to have been on mute online, so I apologize for those online. You haven't been hearing anything I'm saying. I just saw your chat comment, so thank you for that. But as we said, we began this exploration of energy and our energy bodies. Feel free to come up and sit. Any of these chairs here. We began this some weeks ago, and we talked about quantum consciousness. I'm going to repeat that tonight because it is significant. It is the union of the science of religion, the spiritual science, with the physical science. And for the first time in human history, there is a convergence of those two understandings. Now, the spiritual science has often been scoffed at by the physical science because it doesn't follow the physical science methodology. Direct measurements, being an external observer of a phenomena that is measured through measuring devices. And seeking through that disconnected sense, a deep understanding of what is in fact going on. The spiritual science says, no, immerse yourself in the direct experience. You cannot separate the observer from that which is being observed. And it's interesting because as early as 1803, when the first thin slit experiment was performed, which demonstrated the duality of nature as it related to light passing through two slits in what was at the time basically cardboard, and then observing on the opposite end of that box what the light was acting like. And some would say it was going to act like matter, like particles, BBs, so to speak. And it would show up as, a perfect line because it passed through that and it formed a line, and it would stripe out a line of light on the opposite end of the wall. Others would say it's a wave. It's not matter at all. And as a wave, it would pass through those, and the wave would interfere and interact with each other, and it would form wave-like patterns on the other side. So two different perspectives, which would then express themselves in two very different ways. This thin slit experiment in 1803. Well, the truth was, it was very rudimentary, but it actually did show that something very interesting. When the experimenter observed the light and the experiment itself, when they observed the light passing through the thin slits, their observation showed it to be material-like. It acted like matter, like little BBs. But when the observer wasn't there to observe it, the light acted like waves. So it had both characteristics. And it wasn't for another 102 years. It was in 1905 that this experiment was done again, and it formed the basis of Einstein's relativity. The understanding that light acts as both wave and matter, material, if you will, form, but more importantly, that the material world requires an observer to manifest into material form. And in the spiritual science for thousands of years, we've said, and you can read in the Vedas, the truth that this is a Leela, this is a play. All of this material world characterized by Maya or duality, all the ups and downs of life, all the Republicans and Democrats, all the differences that we experience here, love and hate, and all of these expressions, two sides of the one coin, are unique to this dimensional experience. And what's equally unique is it's all being made up. Through our observation, we are bringing forward this material world, this material reality. And so that's been something that the material science has never been able to really comprehend. It transcended the scientific experience, because scientific experience is to be separate from that which you're observing. The religious experience says you can't separate yourself from it. You are one with everything. So they were at odds for thousands of years. And even to this day, there are many great scientists, many great quantum physicists that are still in denial around the truth around nature. But many have come to the realization that there is a higher order, that there is some consciousness of which we are all connected and connected to. And one of the most fascinating recent discoveries was that you do control your own reality. Now, you can translate that into saying you can heal yourself. If the body is unwell, you can make it well. You can change the physical reality of your body. You can change the reality of all the circumstances in your life. Now, that's easier said than done, of course, because we still live in that veil of delusion, thinking that we are a material being. And since we are shrouded in this physical form, we are disconnected from the more subtle energy body that we become as we shed this mortal coil. Upon death, what happens? Well, the material body dies. It just goes back into its dust and dirt, its material elements of which it's made, roughly 16 atomic elements: nitrogen, hydrogen, etc., calcium. But what's animating this form, we'll call it consciousness, it never dies. So it continues in its journey, in its energy form. And that energy body has centralized aspects of it where the energy is most highly concentrated based on the channels of field lines. Again, this, I know it sounds a little complicated, but a moving charge like an electron creates field lines, electromagnetic field lines. This is why all your wires in your home have rubber insulation around them, because the electrons moving through that copper wire to move the energy to light the gas that's encased in that bulb, or in the case of an LED light, the light emitting diode that's there. But as that electron moves through that wire, it's creating a field around it, and that field would disrupt other fields, so it has to be insulated. Your body is a whole lot of neural pathways. And through these neural pathways, electrons, the smallest element, electricity, is moving to carry charges through these fields they generate. And through the fields, the information is expressed across your body and connecting you with your environment, etc. Now, the quantum biologists today will tell you that you are not a machine. The classical biologist would tell you you're a machine. You're made up of parts, just like a car. Your heart is just a part. It can be taken out. It can be looked at, measured. It can be replaced. Your spleen, your lungs, your eyes, everything is just individualized parts. You're not a machine. Every part is connected to every other part. Every part is literally communicating with every other part, literally trillions of cells in your body communicating together in a coherent fashion, always, nonstop. We hope it's coherent.
And the lights came on.
Because if it lacks coherence, what do you end up with?
Chaos.
Yeah, chaos. We call it dis-ease. You're restricting the flow of energy, the natural flow of energy that is your body. And by that restriction, you are limiting the physical body's capacity to share information that it needs. And without that information, it sort of becomes imbalanced. It's no longer connected into the wholeness of it all. You own your own energy. You own your own reality. You have the capacity to create your own reality. We don't fully embrace that yet. While we are in a physical form, we have disconnected ourselves from the source of consciousness, of which we are truly never disconnected. We're going to chant tonight, "Thou and I are never apart. We're made in the image of the divine creator himself or herself. And as such, all the characteristics of that divine creator are ours. We are no different. The only thing that differentiates us from that is our understanding of it and our ability to express a reality that is not formed by the limitations of the material realm, but is informed by a higher reality of consciousness, which we can tune to as we meditate, which we can tune to as we gain mastery over our life force. We call that prana. And yama means control. So pranayam is controlling your life force. And that's one aspect of yoga. So as we breathe with a degree of consciousness, we can withdraw the energy from our sense instruments, our eyes, ears, nose, mouth, the sense of touch. We withdraw that energy from the physical aspect and draw it inward into our energy spine. And we inform our consciousness to awaken to that higher reality, that higher truth. Great. Well, thank you all who are watching us online or those watching the recording. Again, our topic this week is the fourth chakra. We've moved ourselves up to that point. Last week, we were in the third chakra, down in the solar plexus, the source of our fire, our Agni, the ability to digest life, digest food. That region within our body that controls legs and is informed by the second chakra of change. All these chakras are interconnected. You can't focus on one without focusing on the others. We'll talk about them individually, but the reality is you can't separate them. They are not machines made of individualized parts. We'll speak to them individually because they have individualized components. I reference several really great works, Your Aura and the Chakras, Carla McLaren's book, really great book on the chakras. Savitri Edananda has written 2 books on the chakras. Savitri, Savritri, she is amazing in her understanding of the chakras and the energy body. And she wrote her books as fiction, as novels. So they're very fun reads. I have them here in our library if anyone is interested. But a really fun way to learn about the energy body through the storytelling that she does. And it's truly magnificent. But given that we have been moving up the energy spine over these weeks, and we've achieved now our fourth chakra, I wanted to focus on a couple of characteristics around that. Of course, we all recognize it to be in the heart region. You may not know, and by the way, every one of our chakras are 7 altars of our inner temple. This is how our energy body is referenced in the Christian tradition. If you read the Bible, it will talk about the 7 altars. And the staff of life is always the reference to the energy spine. So Jesus talked a lot about yoga in his allegorical, metaphorical manner, as all great spiritual teachers have. Every chakra has, like most things in the material sense, a dual existence. The fourth chakra outwardly expresses itself in the frequency of the color green. So you'll see us wearing green tonight, honoring the fourth chakra. What you may not have known, but they're also the subtle energy body inwardly. If you were to leave this material form and see the fourth chakra, it would be blue. So it has an outer expression and an inner expression. All of our chakras also have an influence on aspects of our physical body. Now, of course, the heart chakra, centered to the heart, it's pretty easy to imagine that the organ of the heart is key. Also, the aspects that are influential to the organ of the heart, the blood flow through the arterial system, circulation. Also, because the chakra is roughly, you could imagine it to be somewhere around 3 to 4 inches in diameter and region. Here, it does touch upon the lobes of the lungs, and also the diaphragm, which is the muscle that enables the lungs to collapse and expand such that they can draw in oxygen, the carbonized oxygen, and withdraw the decarbonated oxygen back through our arteries. It also is connected to our hands. You'll notice that many spiritual images show the body extended, the hands down, and the hands are extended to the circle that the body resides within. The head, the crown at the top, the feet extended out, the hands this way. It's the pentagram. The hands and the heart are connected. Holding on to things is central to the heart. Attachment is one of the negative aspects. If the heart is out of balance, we fall prey to being attached to others. This is the problem most often faced in the sense of human love. It's no longer divine love. It's a love of control, of need, of necessity, of holding on, including the mother with the child, trying to hold them on, for whatever rationalized reasons they may give, to protect them, to educate them. The truth is, it's the more negative aspect. The shape of the heart chakra is spherical. Now, if you could somehow tune your camera on your smartphone, and by the way, I'm sure that the Galaxy version 12 will have this feature in about 200 years, but the iPhone, probably when they get the version 22 or something, will have it as well. But the truth is, if you had a lens capable of resolving the subtle vibration of your energy body, you would be able to see the field lines of the current of energy that's moving throughout your body. We said earlier, right? Moving charges create fields, and the neurons are charged electrically. And as they move through these neural pathways, sending information that control your body, both autonomically, right, automatically, as well as through conscious effort, you're creating this field. We call it right now our aura. And sure, there's people out there, they claim they can take a picture of your aura. You know, I've gone to some health and wellness conferences, and there'll be a booth there, and for $5 they can do a quick Polaroid snapshot and show me the colors of my aura. It's cute. and it's indicative of a potential reality. It's not necessarily a display of that reality yet, because we really don't have the technology to do it properly. But nonetheless, and there are wellness centers, one here in Encinitas, that will use that technology to find hot spots, right? Red colors that will illuminate, and they'll say, well, this is an area of concern, an area of blocked energy, right? But anyway, there'll be a time when these little rectangular devices that are the supercomputer of the day will be able to take a picture. And if you could see your heart chakra as a sphere. If the heart chakra was out of balance, that sphere would change its shape. It would begin to elongate. Now, the heart chakra connects the physical aspect of your being, the lower three chakras, third, second, and first. The lower chakras is the material expression within the physical body. And the heart is the portal between the material and the spiritual, the upper three chakras. So if you are out of balance, let's say you're a little bit too much into bhakti yoga, you know, you're just wanting to dance in the clouds with Bhagavan, you know, yay Bhagavan, Krishna. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with loving God, but even so, if you're not grounded and you're just your head's up in the clouds, you would be able to take a picture of that sphere and it would elongate upward. You would be imbalanced. Likewise, if you were rooted in fear, afraid of change, lack courage, maybe you've been hurt or whatever the reasons are, but the draw of energy would be downward and your heart chakra would elongate downward. So there will be a time out into the future when our self-help app will enable us to take a look at our chakra, and we'll see in what direction we've stretched our various energy centers, and we'll know, and we'll be able to detail out, what we can do about it. We'll watch as we can move our consciousness and bring balance back into our heart chakra. That may sound crazy.
Well, and ideally we're in tune with our own being enough so we can feel when we're living too much in fear, or when we may not be centered because we're so in the higher chakras.
The beauty of the heart chakra is more than just, it's creating a balance between spirit and nature. One of my favorite chants is spirit and nature dancing together. It's a beautiful chant. But it's a center of compassion and empathy. It connects us to ourselves, and even more so, it connects us to each other. When our relationships are pure and divinely guided, not selfishly divided, not what can I get from you, and how good do you make me feel physically or emotionally or intellectually, but how are you uplifting my consciousness to bring it closer in union, yoga, with the divine creator? That's a divine relationship. And the compassion and empathy that we carry is centered here. That's one of the strongest expressions of our heart chakra, compassion and empathy. And it begins inwardly, having it for ourselves. We cannot have compassion for others if we lack compassion for ourselves. And it's interesting because if you allow your energy to be out of balance, meaning that you're enabling it to also express itself outward, you're depleting yourself. You're creating an imbalance in your own center. It's often said, to be selfish. Jesus, I believe, was the most selfish being to walk the planet. He was so beautiful in that way. You have to care for yourself to be able to care for others. The elements of this chakra are air, one would imagine, because it's so tightly connected to the region of the body where breathing is concerned, the diaphragm, as we mentioned, the lungs. The stone is diamond. The purity, I think there was a feminine aspect of the divine Lord that came up with that one, because, of course, buying our loved ones diamonds has been part of our folklore. The metal is copper. You'll notice those of us that wear bangles as part of the Self-Realization Fellowship, as disciples of these great gurus here, this is a balance of copper, gold, and silver, brought in a certain way as through the tradition of these gurus. Part of the reason is the copper is helping to balance the heart chakra. Same for the kinds of gemstones that one wears. So as you become aware of your own Vedic astrology, your own Vedic chart, you'll understand how these elements physically in this world can be utilized to help you maintain energetic balance in your own material body. The day of the week in which the heart chakra has its greatest capacity for expression and balance is Friday. The sound of that chakra is yam. The mudra, the way in which one can use the hands, again, hands connected to the heart. The energy that's expressed through the hands is quite extreme. If you could see the energy coming off your hands, you'd know what I mean. So mudras are yoga or physical expressions of life force. And that's why they're very, very popular. These are just like the asanas of regular yoga, only you're just using the hands. I'm going to ask Anka to demonstrate the Lotus Mudra, and we will do this together. We're going to practice a little bit of bringing balance into the heart chakra through visualization. We'll bring our attention to the heart center. Visualize the color blue if you can. If not, the color green. Again, green is the outer expression, the more gross expression of the heart chakra. If you can go beyond that and see blue, doesn't matter if you see nothing, just try to visualize your attention here. See it as a sphere of light behind those closed lids with the gaze uplifted, the attention drawn to that heart chakra, and we'll be chanting together, Yam, 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 over and over and over again. That vibration is tuned to the fourth chakra. we're going to be doing that while we hold a mudra, which Anka can demonstrate for us now, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, let's practice the Lotus Mudra together. It's beautiful, beautiful mudra to open and strengthen the heart chakra. So bring your palms to your heart. And then open up your index fingers, middle fingers, and ring fingers. So the outside of your little fingers touch and the outside of your thumbs touch. And you can imagine, just close your eyes and you can imagine that you're becoming this beautiful lotus blossom coming out of muddy waters into the light, into the beautiful qualities that are held in the heart chakra. Unconditional love, gratitude, joy, forgiveness, compassion. And you can gently, with your eyes closed, lift your gaze to your third eye, your intuitive center between your eyebrows. And still have a part of your consciousness focus on your heart chakra. And let's repeat this Bij mantra Yam together.
Yam, 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 yam. Feel the vibration in the core of your heart center. Yam, 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 yam. See if you can't visualize the color green or blue. Yam, yam, yam.
Even if you're not feeling so much, some of us are very intuitive, very energetically sensitive, and some of us not so much. But just have the intention to strengthen your heart chakra, to connect with these divine energies, to bring balance into the heart chakra.
Now, as you draw that gaze into the center of the heart chakra, continuing the mantra of Yam, and draw it inwardly and ever more softly and silently, just in your own inner being, continuing with that mantra silently and into the center of the heart. Try to tune your breath with that mantra. Inhale to that mental and silent sound of Yam, and exhale with that silent sound of Yam, without trying to control the breath at all. Fast or slow, it doesn't matter, but each inhalation is followed by one Yam. Each exhalation, Yam. And feel that vibration and that energy in the center of the heart chakra.
Practice the mudra in a way that it's relaxing and opening for you, so you don't create tension in your wrists or your fingers. Focus on the opening, the blossoming of your heart.
You might find your breath changing. It may go more shallow, it may go longer. It doesn't matter, just observe it dispassionately, without control, and just allow it to be as it chooses to be. But each inhalation followed by that Yam Bij mantra, and the exhalation followed by that Yam mantra. Now, when you're ready, gently open the eyes, holding the hands in pranam over the heart. And we'll close with the practice of this mudra now in its two forms. This lotus is symbolic of divine love. It's symbolic also of the spirit and nature duality. The stem and root of the lotus blossom is always rooted in the murkiest, dirtiest, muddiest of water. And yet out of that rises this tall stem to reveal this beautiful lotus blossom as it opens. And so it is that we will use our inhalation breath or exhalation. You can do it either way, which is whatever's most comfortable for you. You could exhale with the blossom closing and downward and drawing the knuckles and the wrist together into the heart. Again, visualizing the stem and root of the lotus blossom, anchoring into the lower chakras, into the earth, giving you grounding and strength and courage. And then as you inhale, letting that blossom opening up, again, slowly with that breath, and allowing the edges, the outer edge and the inner edge, little fingers and thumbs, remaining touched while the others are blossoms rising to the sky. The divine nature, reaching to your highest nature in your higher chakras. And then closing up again, folding downward, expressing itself down, anchoring into the lower chakras. And rising back up. Collapsing back down. Rising up. Collapsing back. Two more times on your own, silently and at whatever pace is comfortable for you. Just feel the balancing you're bringing of the heart chakra as it unites spirit and nature, connected into this perfect balance, perfect wholeness, perfect oneness. On the next breath, as you rise your lotus blossom up to the highest chakras, the lotus blossoms opening, closing the fingers together and bring the hands in pranam into the heart and introspect inwardly and realize how you feel. sense of calm, balance, a sense of compassion for yourself, a oneness. Join me as we share a moment expressing the universal sound of creation, all chakras resonating together in Om. Taking a deep inhalation breath, chanting Om. Jema. Relax your hands down. I hope that even in that short exercise, you're able to feel a sense of union within yourself, reintegrating the lower forms of the material body, the lower chakras, with the higher forms of divine awareness into a wholeness, a oneness, where compassion and empathy and non-attachment can be best expressed. From that place of balance, we are able to express the greatest aspect of divine devotion. When we are centered in ourselves and centered in our heart chakra, we are able to carry that energy outward to the entire universe, to love all, to love the divine Lord himself. And it's an unconditional love. It's not predicated on what you might receive. The love of an imbalanced heart chakra is a harmful love based on human emotion. How fragile is that love? One moment, oh, I love you so much, and the next minute, I can't stand you. That human love that we've all had some degree of experience with. Divine love is forever. And it can be expressed in the material physical body within our physical relationships. Best done through non-attachment, not the love of what I might receive back. Not, I love you, and then wait to hear for that to come back to you like an echo. Oh, she didn't say she loved me. But to have no attachments whatsoever. To be there for each other in our relationships in such a way that we are able to uplift each other. Not for any reward that comes from that, but purely to help uplift. The pranayama is an important aspect of that, and I hope you felt that. The inhalation, whether you did it as you expanded your lotus blossom or as you collapsed it back down into its anchored into the lower chakra. It doesn't matter. If it's better for you to exhale as you're rising up, and inhale down. It doesn't matter. So don't make it a dogma. Make it your own and practice that. Very simple exercise. I'd like to close before our meditation with a couple points on introspection. Gurudev had been a very ardent promoter of introspection, and it's been one of the most valuable tools that I've used personally throughout my life. I begin each day with a moment of introspection. Now, Anka and I carry on our nightstand the spiritual
diary
that Yogananda wrote, a little expression for each day. And it's the very first seed of thought that we put into our minds each morning. We'll read what Master has to say. Now, we are attuned to our Guru, of course, and you may not have that attunement, and that's perfectly fine. But it would be useful for you to begin each day by planting a seed of uplifting thought into that mind before the world takes it over. When you first wake up, I notice that there's this momentary window of calmness. Now, I also know how quickly and fleetingly that dissipates. If I were to get up and go to my office, it's gone. If I were to sit in front of my computer or pick up my smartphone to check an email, instantly gone. So I have to be very mindful to take advantage of that instantaneous moment of calmness when I first wake up. Who do I want to be today? I ask myself. What kind of person? Saintly? Aggressive? Calm? What are my goals for today? What is my intention? Setting that intention is something that you can then carry with you throughout your day. It gives you a pole star, a compass from which you can measure your progress throughout that day. Very simple. Today I'm going to feel grateful. Gratitude will be my intention for the day. How do I want to behave? Is today going to be a day of softness in my behavior, or am I going to be active? Now, no judgment in any of these. There's nothing wrong with active or calm. In fact, Master said, be calmly active and actively calm. So don't add judgment to it. It's not, oh, I should be this, or I should be that. It's, who am I? Introspection begins with authenticity. And it's fueled out of courageousness. You have to be willing to look at yourself with all the warts and wrinkles and blemishes and light and perfection that you are. You are a saint having a human experience, nothing less. And like every one of these great saints, and every saint and sage of every religious tradition, they came into a material form to show us the way. Yogananda had all kinds of physical ailments. He was having to take numerous medications to make it through his physical days. His two partners, one of them, a boyhood friend that had grown up in Calcutta together, ripped him off in his businesses here in Los Angeles when they began at Mount Washington, the work of the Self-Realization Fellowship. He reached such a state of dismay and just said, Ma, what am I doing here? Let me go back to India. And he had to leave America to go down to Mexico, not unlike what Anka and I do every now and then.
Not like we have to leave, but we choose to leave.
And he did. And of course, imagine 33 years to come into this country during a period of the Roaring 20s, the Great Depression, World War I, the plague, World War II, Korea, almost. He saw some of the most resounding changes and conflicts on the face of this earth. We think coronavirus is bad. And in the midst of that, he brought Kriya Yoga to hundreds of thousands of people. He brought the understanding that we are forever united with the perfect God, that we have within us a portable paradise, that all we have to do is realize that, and realize it in our own personal way. He called it self-realization. It wasn't just about being a church. It wasn't about being a member. It wasn't about a collective. Sure, it's nice to have satsang where we can all come together, where we can all share in the greater teachings, where we can feel each other's presence, whether it's across this globe for those of you, Jai Guru, that are in India right now, Unati, and for those of you that are in Carlsbad, John, Jim. I mean, in this moment, imagine. And for those of you that are seated here physically at the Temple of Joy, we can feel each other's presence. It's non-local. Quantum physics speaks to that. Your connection to the infinite, the astral and causal realm, is pure and constant. Never are you disconnected. You may think you are. You may create a veil of delusion that obscures that view. You may not see it or feel it. I think of so often when I come out of the hot shower and I stand in front of the mirror and it's all fogged and I can't even see myself. And I think, wow, that must be what my soul often looks like. And when I clean that mirror and I dry it out and I can see clearly, I'm cleaning the mirror of my soul to see beyond the limitations, the perfection that I am, the connection that I have with the divine. Throughout your day, take some time outs. Stop for a moment and check in with yourself. How am I doing with that intention that I set? What have I done in the last 2 hours that have expressed that gratitude to myself and to others?
And it's helpful also to have an affirmation going. So whatever your intention is, just choose that affirmation and repeat it over and over again throughout the day. This way you don't forget and disconnect from it.
You have to stop to do that. I have a nonprofit with a dear friend, Max Gale. We call it LAP. And the reason is it's a metaphor. The 3 words, the word itself, if you look up, my friends in India, Lap in Hindi means God. I didn't realize that 30 years ago when we started this nonprofit, but we were thinking about where does the responsibility lie in our lap? What do we do for health in the physical body? We run laps. How do you bring 2 dissimilar metals joined together in a seamless oneness? It's called lapping. How do you take a raw stone and polish it with a lapidary? And so it is. Throughout your day, pause, create your lap. It could be your lap of luxury, the luxury of connecting to this higher truth that keeps you centered in the spine and spherical in your 4th chakra, in balance to the natural flow of your life, grounded in the day-to-day with the energetic, divine awareness, grounded in the higher truth. At the end of each day, before the pillow hits the head, review your day. I'm not talking about 1 hour cycles here. I'm saying spend 30 seconds. How did I do today? Check in with yourself. Did I end my day better than I started it? Did I accomplish my intention? How does it make me feel? What could I have done better? See, we are here to improve. And hopefully we're here to leave everything we touch better than we found it. And it begins with ourselves. And every day we can get better and better and better in the smallest ways. Don't take more than 5 minutes doing this. Don't get deeply into the mind.
And don't beat yourself up. You don't want to judge yourself or criticize yourself so harshly that then you close your heart chakra. It's just more of being an observer. So you don't need to get caught up in the drama of it all. And maybe the next day continue with that same intention if you feel that you could go more deeply into it from a place of self-love.
Fourth, learn to ask the right questions. Move out of the cycle of trying to have the right answers. We are trained to come up with answers. We are not trained to come up with questions. Did I keep in my mind the intentions and the goals that I had set for myself on this day? Or do I allow it to dissipate over time throughout the day? Did I hold on to my inner peace while going through the day's challenges? How did I respond to that call that I had with my coworker, my spouse, my son, my boss? How did it make me feel? How did I treat others throughout the day? Compassionately, with empathy, with fear, with anger? Be honest. Introspect authentically. What good habit am I trying to develop that I am fueling and exercising through this intention on this day? I have found it helpful to break my questions into categories. It's my way of organizing, and you might find it as well. I have categories around spiritual development, categories around my material work, categories around my relationship with Anka, categories around my relationship with other friends, with my grandchildren and my children, categories around my relationship with myself. It helps me to see all of these communities of practice, these aspects of my life that should remain imbalanced. I can't just assume that they are. View introspection as a key aspect of creating and maintaining a healthy relationship with your Creator. One way that we can make introspection more deeply meaningful is to see it in relationship to our love for God. Lord, I know that I am made in your image. I know that you are perfect, therefore so am I. I know you are love. I am love. You are joy. I am joy. Help me, Lord, to remove any obstacle, any doubt that keeps me from that truth. Help me to become all that I am. See, we possess everything we could possibly want right now. There is nothing further you need to do, buy, read, sell, eat, except to realize all that you have now. And when you put it in the context of the Creator, you are tuning your consciousness with the highest level of truth. It's been said in the context of the guru-disciple relationship that 25% of the spiritual effort is done by the individual, 25% by the guru, and 50% by the divine. You are not alone. You don't have to do this alone. You have to do your part, 25%. And a large part for me of that 25% was opening my heart to receive the grace, the help, the support from God and Guru. To realize that I deserved the help. To realize that I needed the help. I wanted the help. And it was helpful. And lastly, end your period of introspection with some degree of inner resolve, some technique for an affirmation. You know, I remember younger, we were always saying, I'm getting better and better. Today's the day, in every way I get better and better. When I was a young boy, that was a mantra that we used to repeat ourselves. We were taught that at Catholic school, 3rd, 4th grade. I will make up my mind to be happy within myself right now and exactly where I am today. I will make up my mind to be happy within myself right now, where I am today. Or I know that God's power is limitless, and I am made in His image, and I too have the strength to overcome all obstacles. In your own words, in the language of your heart, and your introspection with some form of affirmation, and draw that deeply into your superconsciousness. Practice ahimsa in all of this. Don't try to do it all at once. Don't expect that in 1 day, 2 days, it's going to transform, but know it will. I remember one of my favorite cartoons, and I still have it. It was a Calvin and Hobbes. It's 2 cartoon characters. One's very tall, thin. The other one's short. I don't remember which one. Oh, I think, it was the short one. I don't remember the names. But he looks up and he says, and his face is like just full of angst. And he says, I'm so stressed out. And the tall one looks down and he says, meditate. And then the next cell of the cartoon is the 2 of them. And then in the final cell, it didn't work. Know that it works. Know that every moment, every day, in every way, you are getting better and better. Know that you are not alone. Ask for help. Seek guidance. Continue to make the choice, as you have tonight, to choose joy, happiness, truth, authenticity, love, God. Make God your priority. In the language of your own heart, in whatever language and process works for you. If you're a Catholic, be the best Catholic. If you're a Jew, be the best Jew. If you're an atheist, be the best atheist. You see surrounding us here in the Temple of Joy, if for those of you online, you can't necessarily see other than our line of gurus here, but over here we have a large Ganesh, elephant-headed young boy, and above Ganesh is the monkey, Hanuman, and behind him is the many faces of Vishnu in his first incarnation of Narayan and Nara and the other incarnations. And over here, Divine Mother is Durga, and Kali Ma, Divine Mother, in her fierce nature, and Krishna in his statue above, and Shiva down here below. All this pantheon of multiple faces of the one God. Each of them, for me, represent specific characteristics. The love of Guru, Hanuman, the greatest disciple that ever lived. It's been said to open his chest, and in where his heart would be in that fourth chakra was Rama and Sita themselves, seated on their throne. He loved them more than life himself. He's a monkey, and monkeys have absolute zero promiscuity sexually, right? They're constantly having intercourse with every other monkey in the trees. He was celibate. He overcame sense perception. One of the most challenging things in his domain, no less, worse than even the human condition. He was the best bhakti yogi ever. All of these are characteristics of Hanuman. When I look at that statue, this is what I think about. Accomplish more beyond the limitations of my own sense perceptions. To give my life to the guidance of the Guru, who has achieved mastery over the ego and over the bundle of self-definitions, that which I'm seeking to achieve. I want to climb the Everest of spiritual realization. I need to have one who has done it to show me how. And so it is with each of these. There are different faces, different expressions. And I've had a neighbor of mine once that came over. He thought I was some kind of practicing hedonist or something. He thought, you have all these false gods. My God, you're going to be damned. Because the Bible says, thou shalt not have false gods before thee. Jesus is the only Son of God, he would tell me. I said, God is everything. God is everywhere. He has infinite faces, infinite voices. Why limit myself? And like all of us, I have different emotions, different times of day, different seasons, different attitudes, expressions, philosophies, environments. And sometimes I feel like being hugged by Divine Mother. Other times I'm trying to create. I ask the guidance of Father. Or I want the friend. So I have an infinite number of ways of making God my own personal valet, if you will, the concierge to my own self-realization. I ask that you do the same. And don't judge yourself while doing it. Like me and Anka, I trust that you will speed ahead on the highway of self-realization. That you will do more than just dedicate that hour and 15 minutes each week. And I really do respect that you made that choice here today, tonight, this morning for you, Arnie, in Mumbai. I know how early it is for you. But that you would make that choice. What a beautiful choice it is. Imagine you have lived hundreds of thousands of lifetimes. The number of incarnations, it says in the Vedas, to achieve human consciousness is 8 million. Another 1 million incarnations as a human to return back home into the state of pure consciousness. The fact that you are here says you are almost home. It could be in this lifetime. It's not 100,000 more lifetimes. It's not even 100. It could be a half a dozen. It could be one. You have very, 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 very good karma because you've made that choice, and it shows where your priority in life is. Carry that energy with you throughout your day. Make it your own. Practice introspection. Start each day with an intention. End each day evaluating your progress along that desired path. Create your own reality. Fake it until you make it, if that's what it takes. But you are a saint having a human experience. That, my friend, is a truth. Namaste. I may have been a little long-winded tonight and practicing a little bit of pranayama, so I suggest we close out this evening with a short meditation. For those that are here physically, if you'd like to stay longer and chant or what have you, I'd welcome that. For those online, just to honor our commitment of time together, we have a short amount of time here remaining. So let's go ahead and sit upright. If you're seated in a chair, have the feet flat on the floor. Hands, I like them upward. Again, a sign of receptivity to receive the grace, resting comfortably at the junction of thigh and abdomen. And drawing them in toward that junction, if you can, you'll notice that will help to open the chest. And with the chin level with the floor. Now imagine lifting your gaze behind gently closed eyelids, lifting them slightly up from horizontal, as if staring out at a distant mountaintop, while keeping the chin level with the floor. This is the position when we reference uplift the gaze. What happens is where your gaze rests is where your attention will go, and wherever your attention is placed, your energy will follow. Roll your shoulders gently back in small circles to just feel a release in the upper back and the spine. And after a couple times, allow it to rest downward as if the branches of a tree are just blowing gently in the breeze, not holding any energy, any tension whatsoever. And keeping that gaze uplifted, bringing the hands up now in pranam over the heart. And with a heart open, join me in this prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, great masters of self-realization, saints and sages of all religions, humbly we bow at your feet. Divine Mother, you are joy, and I am made in thy image, and I am joy. Open my mind to realize my oneness with thee. Expand my heart to feel your infinite love. Help me to become an ever more perfect channel to share your wisdom and your love into this world. Om Shanti, Shanti. Amen. Resting the hands back onto the junction of thigh and abdomen, the gaze uplifted, going inward and tuning out all thoughts. Any thoughts that pass by, just allow them to float by as if a leaf on a stream, not giving it any energy at all. Keeping the gaze uplifted at the point between the eyebrows, and begin to tune to your breath. Feel the abdomen extending out as you inhale. Letting that breath rise up through the heart chakra, the throat, up to the seat of highest awareness at the point between the eyebrows. And then as it continues its journey on exhalation, drawing it back down. Feel the abdomen collapsing toward the back of the spine. And when ready, inhale again, drawing the abdomen out. Energy through the heart, the throat, holding it at the point between the eyebrows for just a moment of breathlessness. Perhaps silently chanting Om, Om, and then exhaling. Inhale again. Holding the breath at the point between the eyebrows. Now tense all muscles in the body. Just feel every muscle getting tensed from the toes, the legs, the buttocks, the abdomen, the arms, the face. When you need to, release them upon exhalation. Again, inhale. Hold, tense, squeezing all tension, all anxiety out of every muscle, and then relaxing. And now with this inhalation, inhale all the positive qualities: love, compassion, empathy, non-attachment. Exhale all the negative qualities that are no longer serving you: anger, fear, desire, all attachments. Inhale love. Exhale doubt. Inhale. Exhale. Now just continue in your own, silently watching the breath. If you choose to use a mantra of your own choice, any word or words that hold a sacred meaning to you, follow your breath with that mantra.
You can continue breathing with Yam to the mantra for the heart chakra. Or I am love, I am joy, I am gratitude. Whatever you need at this time. If any thoughts come in, just return to your mantra and to your breath.
Take a couple of minutes now to release any techniques that you might be using, and in the stillness of your own heart, remain completely still and open, and allow yourself just a couple of moments to receive the grace bestowed upon you by the Divine Creator from this meditation and this satsang. The voice of the Divine might speak to you in the form of a deep sense of peace, or calmness, or joy. In whatever voice He chooses to speak to you, just allow yourself that moment to receive. We'll use the balance of our meditation now for healing and sharing to others that may be in need, those in your life that may be sick or in a disadvantaged position in life and may need some of your uplifting, healing energy. Visualize them now at the point between the eyebrows. Feel their presence. See them surrounded in the healing light of your own consciousness. And with that vision, bring your hands in pranam and let's join together in this healing prayer. Divine Mother, Thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all Thy children. Manifest Thy healing presence in their bodies, in their minds, and in their souls. And rubbing the hands together, we're going to send out on 3 waves of Om that healing energy out to those in need as you visualize them at the seat of highest awareness at the point between the eyebrows. And we'll send out that first wave for healthy bodies. For healthy minds. And for divinely awakening souls. one more wave of Om. Send your loving light out to all living beings on this planet, that they too may awaken in their joy. Join me in our closing prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, great masters of self-realization, saints and sages of all religions, humbly we bow at your feet. Divine Mother, may your love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken that love in hearts everywhere. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. For those of you that are with us online, and for those of here at the Temple of Joy, thank you again for making such an enlightened choice, being with us here tonight. I remind you it is recorded and available on our YouTube channels, on Facebook, LinkedIn, all the social media. Tomorrow morning, we'll have our 10 a.m. Pacific time yoga. This is available online only, again, through our website or through any of the social media sites. You'll see it posted there. It'll be a live event on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Again, 10 a.m. yoga. Tuesday nights at 7. This week it was at 6 p.m. Next week it will be at 7, back to its normal time. We apologize for those that may have missed this week because of the slight time change. We had a conflict with the schedule, but next week it will be at 7 p.m. Again, blessings to you all. Spread the love to all that you meet. Continue to raise your consciousness up and realize that you are a saint having a human experience. God bless us all. Good night, all. Good morning.